Hey, everybody. Isaiah Goodell here with the Goodell Multiverse with another episode of the Dark Dimension. Gotta tell you guys, I've been loving doing these things. It's a lot of fun, to be honest with you. Sammy and I have been learning a lot when it comes down to how to do this stuff, and they're only going to get better. Please put in the comments down below. Let me know if there's something I can do better with this, if the video quality, the setup, or how it's going. Trying to build the table up here a little bit. Godzilla decided to join us. We got Predator here, and got a new addition here with a scorpion little guy here with his fire. I think he's pretty cool looking. Anything to kind of set the mood for what we're about to talk about, guys, which is everything horror, sci-fi, fantasy, monsters, disasters, thrillers. This is going to go everywhere. I'm going to do as many creature features as I can, but, eventually we're going to run out of creatures, and we'll still talk some really good, super good sci-fi thriller stuff out there to watch. I got to tell you guys, I am on a high right now because I went to the movies today to see a new movie. It just come out, a new horror movie, by the way. And I was going to do a review of a different movie this time and save this new movie for the next episode. But I realized, man, I got to talk about this movie. So the other movie, it's still a good movie, but it's going to wait till the next episode. So bear with me. I'm kind of going off the seat of my pants. I'm not going to give you as much information on this film about how it was made and everything because it is so brand new, and I've only done some research on it. But I got to tell you, I'm going to go into this when we go on the Goodell Multiverse. I'll talk about this with Sammy as well because there's a couple things I want to bring up when it comes down to films. But movies, guys, wise, I got to tell you that I personally have this thing that I look for when I go to the movies. I'm strictly addicted to it. I know it for sure. Some people would say, oh, it's kind of you're kind of crazy about watching as many movies as you do. The problem is we all know, you guys know, I don't have to tell anybody. When you see a movie for the first time that moves you, whether it's fear or you cry, or you're happy about something, the joyfulness, or you learn something and it gives you an epiphany about your own life or the world. I don't like when movies try to preach all the time, but I do have to tell you, there's a time and place for a film that's going to teach you something, and there are things you can learn from them. Now, yes, like I've told my own kids, you can't base the world off of movies, but you can expand your horizons on the way you think with film. And I look at film the same way I look at music. I look at music and film the same way I look at reading a book. You can learn from these things and expand your horizons through stories, through fiction. It's through things based on true stories. Of course, some movies embellish a little. They get a little Hollywood is what they call it, where it's based on true story, but they got to make it so it's fun to watch. I get it. I got some favorites. Braveheart comes to mind. Braveheart is an amazing movie. It's one of the best movies ever made. Yes, there's some historical inaccuracies, but a lot of that's got to do with budget and timing, and does it look good when you watch it? And it'd be a 5-hour movie if you put it all in. So Lord of the Rings is another good example. If they really made them true to those books, man, we have 6-hour-long movies. It's amazing. We got 4-hour-long movies that we already have, and they still have things they didn't put in there. So with that said, guys, when I go to a film and I see something that I wouldn't say I'd never seen before, but I'd never seen utilized like this before. I guess that's the way to put it. There are some things in this movie that I haven't seen before. And of course, let me tell you what the movie is before I get too far into it. So today I went and saw it technically, I guess, was made in 2005, but it's released in 2006. Actually, it was released this last Friday. It's a movie called Obsession, and it's directed by Barker. I apologize. And from what I understand, it's his second movie, but first actual feature film. I think he made an hour-long featurette movie before online, but this is the first feature film put into theaters like this. And the movie's called Obsession, and I'm sure it's all the buzz right now. Everyone's been seeing the trailers for it. Everyone's talking about it. I've heard a lot of first reaction reviews that say it's phenomenal. It's starring Michael Johnston, who I've never seen before, and he does a fantastic job. And it's starring actress by the name of Indy Neravetti. I hope I'm saying her name right because I gotta tell you guys, watch out. This is a breakout role for her. I think she's been in other things. I'm not sure what those other things are, but it's nothing I've seen her in until now. Holy moly, she is phenomenal in this movie. I am very impressed with the acting in this film all around. Very believable. Michael does a great job at being scared. She does a great job at playing this part she's playing. And if you guys don't already understand or know from the trailers that have been out, the movie is a man uses a cursed object to win his crush's affection, leading to sinister and unexpected results. So it's a thing called like a wishing willow. And he just makes a wish and he breaks this thing and this wish comes true. And he wishes for this girl to love him more than anyone else in the world. And it's exactly what he gets. But this movie has got layers. It's a movie that it's a social commentary without being a social commentary. I'm going to give it to Curry in this one. He did a great job at making a horror film that's got a lot to say without saying too much to make you feel preached to. This idea of taking someone's soul and their anonymity away so they can't make decisions for themselves and are not who they really are, to get someone to love you. If they don't really love you, you don't really have the real person loving you, right? These are the kind of themes that this movie touches on, but it touches it in all the dark places. And man, this movie goes from 0 to 100 at times. I just got to tell you, when I come out of the theater, I did a quick little reaction and I said to myself, I don't want to have, they call it like urgency bias, which is basically, it's because I just saw it. I'm riding that wave of how much I liked it. And then later on, you kind of start picking apart the flaws. Well, on my way home, driving home, I had a good hour and a half drive home, to be honest. And as I got home, closer to home I realized, oh no, I'm still thinking about this film. Like, nope, there is no recency bias. It is good. And it is something that we need to talk about. I am going to see it again. And if I do change my mind in a second watch, I'll come right on here in the next episode and let you know, hey, by the way, I saw this movie a second time and maybe not as good as I thought, but still, either way, guys, let's get to the point. It's a good movie that we need to talk about, even if it might not be as good as I feel like it is right now. But I got to tell you, usually when something hits me this way, it's a movie that sticks. The last movie that did this was F1. The movie before that was Kevin Costner's Horizon. And I know that's going to get a lot of people kind of rolling their eyes on both those movies. But it's all taste, right, guys? And when I think horror, this is the horror I want. This movie is disturbingly entertaining. Now, if you're someone that doesn't really care for disturbing and just wants nothing but scary, then yeah, like disturbing's not going to be your cup of tea. This might not be your cup of tea. But this has a mix of both. This is situational horror and it's outright horror, like terror in your face horror. And I got to tell you, there's scenes in this that had me sitting right on the edge of my seat. This movie had me from frame one to the end. And why it did is because what Curry did great, and I hope he understands this. Well, I think he does. Obviously, he does because he made the damn thing. But I hope he knows that I recognize this, that even in the slow times, his choice of camera movement, music, the cinematography, the lighting, the acting, he knows that he's telling you a story and he's got to keep you interested even in the slow moments. So the build to what's going to happen in this movie is just as entertaining and fun as the scary stuff because of where he chooses to put the camera, how he shows things, the music for the scenes, the choices the actors make, the choices he's making on these characters, the nuances that all these characters have, right down to their costumes. Everything feels lived in. This feels real. This feels like people that you see when you drive down the street and you know who they are. It is phenomenal. And I can't tell you guys a lot without giving it away. And because it just come out, I'm not going to go into a full deep dive on that. I want people to go see this without knowing. if I recommend to you, anyone out there, I know there's people out there that don't care about spoilers, and they're like, go ahead and just give me the spoilers. It doesn't matter. Cool. Then go to another YouTuber that's going to give you all spoilers. I'm not going to, personally, myself, because I went in blind as a bat. I went in with just the trailer. And when I got probably 10 minutes into this movie, and I knew I was going to like it. Then, of course, it's how is it going to land? How's the middle going to be? How weird is it going to get? Oh, man, it takes some leaps and bounds, and there's some shocking things that happen. And yeah, I know a disturbing horror movie that's shocking, who has a shocking ending. Ooh, what's new, right? Yeah, but it is new. There's things in this film I've never seen before. And guys, I've seen thousands of movies, hundreds of horror movies, hundreds, maybe thousands of them, at least. Seen a lot. And there's a technique that Curry uses in this where the only way to describe it without giving away anything in the movie is there's scenes with this actress where you can't see her face in the darkness, but you can just make out her lips and the tip of her nose and that little glint in the eyes where you make out the eyes that we all know when you see like a reflection. So there's a close-up shots of her face that you can't see, but you see her eyes, and you aren't sure if you're looking at something that has a soul. Boy, this actress does a great job. Her facial expressions, the things that she's able to do with her face are phenomenal. And she goes the distance on anything uncomfortable that you think that an actress would have to do or is asked to do. She does it. She goes the distance, and she doesn't mind it. She actually does a great job at it, and it looks really good. And she owns it. And I give her a lot of credit. It takes a lot of courage. Fantastic movie, guys. Go see this movie. I'm just saying, go see it. Technically, is it a movie you need to see in a theater? Maybe not. But I got to tell you, the sound design, the way some things are framed, the way this movie looks, almost looks like a 90s movie. The theater experience helped it a lot. It made that feel be there. You felt it in your chest. And you need to see this movie, guys. Go give it the money it deserves. I hope it makes the money it deserves. We need to show the industry. I know we have been lately. We've been living in a time of horror movies that are fantastic, but show the industry that we want these movies. This is what we want. And the only way to show it is by going and spending the money. I know we all don't have it. I don't really have it as much, but I will go see this movie again. And I saw it once already. And I will buy it when it comes out. And I will watch it again. And I will share it with people. And it is one of those that I'm going to say, hey, this one's got to be seen. I'm giving this movie, guys, high praise. And I'm going to go ahead and indulge because I got to tell you, at first I was like, man, I don't want to get too bold, but this is what I'm going to say. I've seen a lot of horror movies, and not all of them always hit, and especially new ones. They're fun, they're good. I got a lot of nice things to say about them. I'd like to talk nicely about things more than badly about them, unless we're doing a deep dive retrospective and I'm having fun and giving crap. But that's for a different time and different videos. This movie, though, guys, 10 out of 10 on modern day. 10 out of 10. If this is what Curry's going to give us as a director and writer, producer, even editor in this, then someone needs to sit down with him. Blumhouse needs to sit down with him and say, hey, how many more movies you want to make? Let's hear all your ideas, because this was brilliant. This is probably one of the best horror movies of the last decade, guys. No lie, of the last decade. And that's a lot, because there's been a lot of good ones. But in the last 10 years, I've never seen anything like this. This movie was phenomenal. Go see Obsession. It's out in theaters now. Give it the time of day. I promise you, if you're a fan of everything scary and you want to be uncomfortable and you want to be shocked, this movie will do it. And it does it very, very well. Obsession, guys, go watch that. It's so good. I got to get way better at throwing. All right, guys. So with that said, let's move into the main topic of the day, or the main movie of the day, which is, once again, the movie that I want to share with you from my childhood or from before that I think should be in everybody's repertoire. And that movie today, guys, is going to be Event Horizon. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people out there that, this movie's not that good, right? And it's not. So that's the thing about this movie is I get it. My buddy the other day said, I watched the other day on TV, I haven't watched Event Horizon. Boy, it's not as good as I thought it was when I was a kid, but some of the stuff in it still I love. That's what he said. And that's how I feel about this film. But because of it, though, I will always give it its flowers. I'll always give it its due because it is ahead of its time at the time. If this movie was made today with the effects that we had and the willingness to go the distance that a lot of these horror movies have been going, then this movie would have been amazing. This is a movie that I think today, as much as I love this one, I would definitely be able to be the type of person to say, okay, redo this film, remake it. And I'll love the original, but let's remake it and give it its due that this one wanted to tell you. Because this is a mixed bag. There's things in this that don't work, and then there's things in this that work too well. And I think that that's why audiences were put off. The studio was, and that's why they gave it a hard time. So let's talk about Event Horizon for a second, guys. So Event Horizon, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who actually did the first Mortal Kombat movie. So it's a little campy, but that's okay. And there's a little bit in this, and that's just fine. It's a science fiction horror, cosmic horror kind of film, starring Lawrence Fishburne, oh my, Sam Neill, the great Sam Neill, and Kathleen Quinlan, I'm sorry, Kathleen Quinlan. I'm awful pronouncing names, guys, but be nice to me. And Jason Isaacs, who's an amazing actor. So the quick little synopsis film is a rescue crew investigates a missing experimental ship that disappeared into a black hole and came back with evil. So yeah, this movie is, it's terrifying. They go into a whole other dimension that we think. You know what? The truth is I don't know. I'm going to tell you what I think. They create this warp drive in this ship to fold space-time. So then you can travel from one point to another a lot faster without having to go across the whole galaxy. So it folds it. The ship goes into the wormhole that's supposed to open up on the other side. And what they find on the other side is way different than they expected. I assume they find another dimension that's like a hell dimension. That's pure evil, pure terror. And then 9 years later, out of nowhere, this ship comes back and sends a distress signal out. And of course, everyone wants to go see what happened, especially the guy who made the ship, which is played by Sam Neill. He's the creator of this warp drive. So they send him out with a rescue crew to see what the deal is and what's going on. And they get there and you find out that this ship is basically possessed. And it uses fears and the deep terrors of each person to claim their soul. And it wants to claim them as its new crew to take them back into the hell dimension. And what it's a little convoluted because that's the most it gives you, to be honest with you. But man, these scenes are great. So it's definitely like, it's kind of like they kind of called it The Shining in space. If you really, there's even an homage scene in it where these water tanks fill up with blood and spill over, and just like a scene in The Shining where the blood comes down the hallway and down the stairs. So the director definitely took some cues from that kind of horror. It's definitely mixed with some religious horror and deep space science fiction, which is good because like the religious gothic horror part of it kind of makes it very unsettling, Candyman-esque. But the science fiction part of it really makes you feel like you're watching Alien again, which is good because Alien, that's kind of the goal, right? You want to make something that's as good as that. Paul W.S. Anderson did just come off of making Mortal Kombat, which, believe it or not, was kind of a success, and people liked it a lot. And it's gotten a lot of crap over the years, but it's kind of a cult classic. It's one of those that, as much as I like these new ones, I every once in a while find myself drawn back to that one and watch that one every once in a while. It's a lot of fun. Moments you can just laugh. Some of it's real wild and crazy, and that's what makes it unique. This leaves heavy into Gothic architecture in the ship's designs. It's got like an industrial kind of design and it kind of complements the body horror of this film and also the cosmic dread because it's very dark and dreary and cathedral feeling. The ship looks like something like that, which is unique because it's a futuristic thing that has a very old Gothic kind of feel, and I think that that actually holds itself up real well. The ship itself is actually named Event Horizon, um, and it really, when you first see it, you're kind of like, "Oh, wow, it looks like an old Catholic cathedral-style church," with this big old name on it called Event Horizon. It's already kinda spooky in its own way, to be honest with you. Uh, what this movie has in it that caused a lot of controversy at the time was a found footage segment where this rescue crew gets kind of forced to uh, be on this ship because their ship gets damaged. And while they're on the ship, they kind of uncover a video of the crew before. And this video is real brief and kind of squiggly, and you just hear some things. And there's a real good scene where they hear a voice, and they're having trouble deciphering what the voice said. And they think it said one thing, then later on it said another. And it makes it even scarier because it's what it said. What it really says is real scary. But they descramble like a part of this video, partial of it. And there's this segment of, I mean, who knows what's going on? There's some sort of weird hell orgy of gore, sex, violence, and debauchery in like these quick flash scenes that your brain doesn't quite register what you're seeing when you first see it. And if you don't have the luxury of pause and, going frame by frame, it's very unsettling and terrifying because your imagination takes over and there's some real crazy things. And then when you do frame by frame, it's still super unsettling. And I got to be honest with you, I've never seen anything scarier and more unsettling than that frame by frame freeze rate of this unscrambled video message. Do yourself a favor when you don't watch this movie and go back to that scene and just watch it frame by frame of this. It's like a minute and 20 seconds of just what in the hell am I seeing? And the things you're looking at, I've never seen in a movie, and it is wild. And like, and I think this movie wanted to do more of that, but the time the studio was like, oh no way, this isn't gonna work. You can't do that. Then no one's gonna want to keep watching this. So they didn't let them. And unfortunately, it's too bad because to me, that's what kind of sells the freakiness of this film. If it was made today, you get a 5-minute segment of everything you see in it, and it'd be more. And that's kind of why I'm saying, let's make it today. I kind of want to see what they want us to see. Uh, yeah, I guess the myth of the whole thing is there is footage, a longer version of that footage, but it got destroyed. But some say it didn't. Some say it's somewhere on the deep dark web. Some say it's never been released. I say if you got it, give it to us now, man. Give us a good old special edition of this movie and throw it in there. I'd like to watch that, add that 30 minutes of whatever the hell it's going to be. No pun intended. But it used a mix of miniatures and practical gore effects, animatronics as well, and early CGI. So the CGI in this movie definitely is the part that doesn't hold up well. It's at a time where they really relied on it because it is a super sci-fi, ultra-realistic, futuristic movie. Say that as 10 times fast. But so some of the things you need to do the CGI in, it doesn't quite hold up today, unfortunately. That's why the horror stuff is mostly practical, which does hold up. So this movie, where it cuts itself off, it still has a nice grasp on something. So you're not completely thrown off with it. So my quick review of it, though, is the performances in this are great. Sam Neill does good. He takes a turn in the film as, he's the good guy to the bad guy. He has a really, really daring look at the end that is really amazing, to be honest with you. And very scary look. And I think it's a risk for that actor at the time, and he did a great job at it. It underperformed in the box office, and I feel like that's sad because I wish it didn't. I think today it would do great. There are many issues I have with the tone of the film. And that's kind of where it goes back and forth. You can tell where this movie is a pure horror. Whatever the vision was, these scenes seamlessly come together. And then there's moments where it gets cut in and out of other parts of this film where you're like, that's where the studio was like, okay, you need some jokes here. You need a funny guy there. Don't go that dark. Bring it back a little. And it feels meddled with, much like the Suicide Squad that David Ayer did. Maybe not as much as that film was, because I still want to see that actual version, David Ayer's version of that. Different conversation for a different time. But I feel like this is the same. I think if you sat down with the director and writers and stuff, they were like, yeah, it's not what we intended, unfortunately. It's as close to it as we can get, which I appreciate because what we do get, I love. But it's definitely times where you're like, no, this wasn't intended. It definitely felt forced to have that stuff out, unfortunately. And that's where the studios kind of mess that kind of stuff up, you know. The ending is great. I like the ending. The ending has a lot of questions. And I love movies that leave you with this whole, oh my God, I don't know what really is going on. Not a ton of movies do that. Not all the time does that work. And not all the time should that work, but it works in this film. This movie ends with you kind of going, huh, I really am not sure what really just happened and if that's true or not. And there's a lot of speculation. I tend to think one way, others think another. And, you know, I'd love to have a deeper conversation about that. You know, it's a really good ending though. It's one of those endings that kind of, like I told you guys before, I like endings that are snappy and quick and get you. And this one does that. This one's snappy, quick, and it's got you. And I appreciate that a lot. I think this is a must-see movie. I think it inspires people to do more cosmic horror. I think it definitely should be remade. I wouldn't say that about everything I love. I love this movie, but I think this one does call for a remake. Mainly, like I said, because I think there's a better movie in there that today's graphics, today's willingness to go the distance would actually give us the real story of what we wanted to see this. So I give this movie is definitely a 7 out of 10 because there are some flaws, and I do understand it's not perfect. But it's a fan favorite of mine. I watched it when I was young. My buddy and I, we probably watched this movie, I don't know, 20 times. And we just always loved how freaky it was, how scary it was. And it had us as kids, it had us on the edge of our seats. Event Horizon, guys. Watch this movie if you haven't yet. Great film, lots of fun. One of my absolute favorites. All right, guys. So now we're going to move on to our creature feature. All right. So our creature feature of the week is a movie called 1989's The Terror Within. And oh boy, is this an awful movie. You see it right there. I know the glare kind of gets it sometimes, guys, but maybe we can see it. I know we're going to have posters and pictures up for you anyways, but there's the movie right there. I got the Roger Corman edition, Roger Corman Classics, The Terror Within. This movie's 1989, directed by directed by Terry Note. Let me make sure I say that right. Gosh, guys, I'm going to say it all wrong. Yeah, Terry Knotts. Terry Knotts. I mean, Knotts, maybe you should because you did a great job. So Terry Knotts directed this movie. Fantastic movie. Starring George Kennedy and Andrew Stevens. And it's a creature sci-fi horror, futuristic, end-of-the-world apocalyptic kind of feel. So a group of survivors from a devastated Earth, living in underground bunkers, discovered that mutant creatures called gargoyles reproduce by implanting embryos into human hosts. One infiltrates their shelter, which is underground. The people are trapped in a brutal fight for survival in the dark corridors. Yeah, that's pretty much what this movie is, guys. And it feels claustrophobic because it's filmed very dark for that reason. So it's definitely got that isolated bunker feeling, setting-wise. The monsters in the ventilation shaft kind of feel like you don't feel safe because there's all sorts of places they can get in. The body horror in this and the forced reproductive themes are intense and very scary and very unsettling. and look real well. This is back when they were doing this stuff and this is all they had. And CGI was like, CGI, SMEGI. We're going to make something that looks real. And they do very well in this. A lot of practical slime and slime-covered creatures and wetness and all that fun stuff. Fits that Roger Corman style, like right to a fit. Very limited theatrical release. Had huge VHS sales, though, at the time. Was not well received, but does have a large cult following today. It then didn't make a lot of money. And if you're just a fan of these kind of movies like I am, then this is one of them that's right up on the list to see. There's a sequel to this. We'll talk about it later, but this is definitely, it's definitely one that is, if you're a creature feature guy, this has got to be on your shelf. It's a scrappy little 80s horror movie, guys. It's very rough around the edges. Very much akin to like The Thing and the Alien had a baby. That's kind of this movie. It's very grimy. And it's weirdly very mean-spirited at times. It's a weird way to describe a horror movie, being mean-spirited. But it definitely is. Like, this movie's kind of aggressive and in your face. And the practical effects help that, and the themes help that. It's a kind of horror movie that you stumble across on at like 2 a.m. in the morning, but you find yourself like, wow, it's 2 a.m. and I just found like this crazy movie that I didn't think I'd like, and I'm having a great time. You get a little obsessed with it. It's hard to not watch. Like you're clicking through the channels 2 a.m. and here's this movie pops up, and you're like, yeah, I gotta finish this thing. This is awful, but I'm watching the rest of this. That's definitely this movie, guys, and I think that speaks a lot to it, to be honest with you. Some of the more interesting aspects is how bizarrely serious it is beneath all the schlock of this movie. Like, this movie's got a lot of crap in it, but they really take it very seriously. And under all the mutant attacks and gore, and the story deals with pregnancy and bodily autonomy in an interesting way, it actually kind of like, it actually has a unique thing about it where the theme of this actually kind of speaks to like stuff that we're even talking about still today, like assault and abortion, like in a way that catches you off guard. It makes you uncomfortable. For an 80s B horror movie, it's unexpectedly uncomfortable and topical to like what we're doing today, what we're talking about today in society. And Aliens has some of this too, with how the alien has to reproduce through you. You're part of its reproduction process, which is kind of the same kind of concept in this. We don't have facehuggers in this movie, but these creatures are definitely inseminating people against their will, and making sure they're having their offspring, and that's how they make themselves. So it's very much feels like a fever dream, this movie does. The moments that get real hectic, it's real confusing and dusty, and the action gets a little crazy, and sometimes the special effects are like, ooh, that looked a little rough. But that's okay. I think that speaks to like the meanness and roughness that this film is trying to get across. So it's not for everyone, guys. But if you want to be a true creature feature member, I got to be honest with you, it's one that you probably should see, and it's one that you should add to your collection. Let's give it a quick practical score. Practically, guys, yeah, practically this movie's a 2 out of 10. It's pretty awful, unfortunately. It's not that good. It's not acted well. It's got, like I told you, all the fun things I told you I liked about it, the creature designs, special effects, the practical stuff. It's all great. But it's just a very, very poorly done story. It doesn't really feel like you connect with anybody. With that said, though, for a creature feature score, because it is what it's for, it's a perfect middle ground. This is a good 5 out of 10. You don't need to see this movie, but I highly suggest you do. If you're going to sit and have a conversation about creature features with someone like me or other people that are like me that watch a lot of these kind of films, then this is one that's going to get brought up, and you're going to want to know what it is. You're going to want to be aware of what's going on there. So, yeah, guys, 2 out of 10 practical score, 5 out of 10 creature feature. Watch this movie, guys. Pick it up. I got it for $5 on eBay on DVD, and it's worth it. Add it to your collection. It's a great one to watch for that reason. So once again, guys, we're gonna go over it real quick. Obsession, go see Obsession. It's so good. I can't believe how good it is. I definitely want to do a whole video just on it later on once I see it a good couple times. I'm gonna take my daughter to see it sometime soon because she loves these kind of movies. And of course, Event Horizon, guys, it's a must. This has got to be in your collection. You got to watch this movie. Take it for what it is. Know that if it was remade, it'd be better, and enjoy what you get out of it. And once again, The Terror Within. You could skip this one, but I highly suggest you don't. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's worth being in there. It's a great one to have in the collection. I got a nice little setup over here of these kind of movies, and it looks good in there. And I don't know, it's definitely one I might not put in, but if it's on TV, I'll watch it. If I a bored, snowy day at home, make some hot cocoa, I'll throw this sucker in on the evening where if I want to feel creeped out and just have some on in the background as part of the stuff I love. These are great movies, guys. Well, thank you for watching this, guys. Like, subscribe, look us up on the Goodell Multiverse. We got a lot of good stuff going on over there. We just did Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which was probably one of the best MCU movies ever made. Guys, go check it out. We have a good discussion. I got a nice hot take on there. Sammy's got a lot of stuff to say about it. We had a lot of stuff in the news this last week. I hope you enjoy this, guys, as much as I am. I got a ton of movies to go through. I got a stack of creature features for you. I got a stack of ones I grew up with. I got a ton of movies I've seen. Little sneak peek. Next week, I'm going to talk about The Substance. We're going to have a good time. If there's a movie you guys want me to talk about, if there's one you want me to see, just to review, throw it in the comments. I'll check it out. I'll respond to comments too. I'm not going to respond to haters, but I'll respond to anyone that's got anything creative or fun to say. Good debates are always fun too. So, hey guys, thanks for joining me tonight on this wonderful night. Sorry, my voice is just getting better. I just got over a cold. And like I said, go watch Obsession. Let's show these people that, we want more of those movies. I want Curry to make even more. So let's see how it goes, and see you next time, guys. Have a good night.